showing up naked is such a desperate move for attention that it takes all the art out of it. And I think that it takes all of the art of getting attention out of it. Like, obviously everyone's going to talk about you because you showed up naked. But people are supposed to be talking about you not because you were actually naked, but because you were almost naked. Hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Denise, and today we're going to talk about some of those hot mess garbage juice looks we saw at the Grammys last night. Now, of course, I didn't watch the Grammys. Does anybody? But I definitely looked at the fashion. Some of these people showing up like they don't have a mama. Okay? And obviously, the one that everyone was talking about last night was Kanye West's. Is it his wife now? Did they get married? I think they got married. But I don't understand the relationship these two have, because it is very much pimp and hooker. And she never says a word. It seems very clear she is not invited to speak. And every time we see this poor girl, she's got nothing on. But this time she literally had nothing on. Like, it's been a little hyperbolic to say she was wearing nothing before, but, you know, she's always flirting that line with nakedness. Well, today Kanye was like, today is the day when you finally reach the pinnacle of this trajectory I've had you on, and we're just going to go full on naked. So she shows up in this long black fur coat. Then she turns around and has this dramatic dropping of the coat in which she is wearing nothing. And I don't mean like, oh, well, it was sort of like a transparent sort of opaque fabric. No, nothing. Now, she had the wisp of an idea of some clothes on, but it was like a nylon stocking. I mean, it was completely sheer. Absolutely sheer. You could see the outline that there was like something on, so you could say that she hadn't come naked, but she came naked because we could see everything. Like, I've not been able to, there's not been one picture that has not had to blur out everything because everything was on display. What kind of a husband does this? It's just standing there like some kind of a pimp who's like, what do you think about my goods? Anybody buying? I mean, this is a person who has spent his career talking about injustice and feeling like he's so victimized. And all he's done this entire time since he's gotten with this poor girl is to victimize her and use her for clicks and views. I'm like, I don't know what he thinks he's doing. Is this like some kind of grand project in which he thinks he's really telling the world about, I don't know what? What is he trying to say with this relationship? But it is not a functioning relationship. She is a pet, a piece of property, an object. And the fact that this poor girl would agree to all of his ridiculous schemes in which he just brings her out scantily clad like his own personal piece of pornography is unbelievably demeaning. I mean, I had high hopes for Kanye at one point. I really thought, hey, that guy seems like he does have some mental illness. I mean, I think he even knows that he does. But I thought his trajectory was going to be redemptive, and now suddenly he's just thrown in the towel and he's like, I hate God and I'm just going to do whatever I want, and God abandoned me and didn't give me everything I wanted. Look, man, you got yourself involved with the Kardashians, and if your life turned like a hot mess, it's because you went right into the dump and decided to find salvation in the dump with a bunch of people who do not know their right hand from their left. Not God's fault that your life turned out terribly. Turn over to Kris Jenner and ask her why her daughters are a bunch of hoes, and you decided to go find love, promise, and redemption in a den of debauchery and in a brothel. And then that's God's fault? Anyway, that's a rant. But he has decided to basically give God the middle finger, and now all that stuff that he was saying about how like the whole world's trying to throw pornography in your face, now he is literally the pornographer, showing up with this poor woman with nothing on. Now, by the way, she's an adult. I don't understand why she consents to this. But anyway, there they go. She's prancing around with no clothes on. The police were there to escort them off the premises, not surprisingly. But I wish that she was the only person who had lost their minds that night. Now, she was the one who had the most obvious display of desperation. Everybody goes to the Grammys and flirts with various levels of risque fashion. I think the thing, though, with the Grammys is that it's supposed to be push the boundaries, but don't come naked. And everyone has pushed the boundaries for years. I mean, how many times have we seen outfits where it's like barely there, they're almost naked? And of course we knew that eventually, and I said this on Twitter last night, eventually we knew that somebody was going to show up to the Grammys without any clothes on and think that that was really a shocking moment. But the thing is that trajectory is so clear and evidently what someone would do that it's kind of already been done in our minds. It's not shocking to see someone naked because we've already seen so many varieties of that almost happening that for somebody to just show up and not have clothes on was just too obvious a thing to do. You play with fashion, you play with how much can I get away with. Now, I always think it's trashy and disgusting. I've never, watched the Grammys and been like, I love how that piece of fabric is barely covering her nipples and that I feel like we're getting a waft of butt cheek over here. Like, I don't like it. I think it's trashy as I'll get out. But all I'm saying is that people who participate in the Grammys are participating in a style of fashion in which pushing the boundaries of risque is the point, but not the nakedness. Like, you don't show up naked. You're supposed to make people think of nakedness. You're not supposed to be naked. Not that there's that much of a difference there, but there sort of is. Showing up naked is such a desperate move for attention that it takes all the art out of it. And I think that it takes all of the art of getting attention out of it. Like, obviously everyone's going to talk about you because you showed up naked. But people are supposed to be talking about you not because you were actually naked, but because you were almost naked. And there is a differentiation there, even though it's all debauchery. Like, none of us normal people would ever play these games. But I'm just saying, if we're talking about the Grammys, that's the game I think people are playing. Anyway, interestingly enough, I thought this was shocking. I don't even know anything this girl has ever been in. But there was a former girlfriend of Kanye West who showed up looking exactly like the girl, the woman, the wife that he brought who was naked. Except she wore the same dress, except a different variation. So instead of a flesh-colored stocking, we have a black-colored stocking, and she decided that she was going to do us the favor of putting on a thong. But crazy Julia Fox showed up looking like somebody had interrupted her while she was cleaning the toilet. She's got these yellow dishwashing gloves on. She has a wig cap on, but not a wig. She's wearing some kind of a slip over her thong and bra. She remembered to grab a coat. It is February. Someone was like, hey, the car service is here to take you to the Grammys. You ready to go? Oh, well, I got my gloves on. I was scrubbing that toilet and my wig cap's on and I don't got no clothes on, but okay, let me grab my shoes. I mean, it's like, I'm talking about disheveled. But it was weird to me that that former girlfriend of his would choose something that was so similar to what his actual wife wore. Now, obviously, she's stylish, so she could stay. But you guys, her butt cheeks were on full display. That was a thong underneath that sheer thing. She looked like trash. I mean, hot garbage juice. Like, why does anybody want to show up to an event looking like this? Okay, but as long as we're on, why is your hair in a wig cap? We talk about some other people who look like they were wearing a wig that they let a 5-year-old cut on before they showed up for the event. Look at this. What is happening with Miley Cyrus? Now, let's cover the clothes first. We have this really uninteresting and unoriginal leather/pleather, very circa 2002 look with the sort of straps coming over the breasts, sort of very much like the era in which people were trying to wear scarves as shirts. But I guess she was too busy trying to figure out what to do with this wig. I don't think that's her hair, and I hope that it's not her hair, because what is happening with this situation? It's not even the same on both sides. This is what happens if you said to the 8-year-old, hey, could you cut my bangs for me? And this is what you would get. We got these weird bangs here. It's a straight across chop. Then we got this chop over here. But then we've got this sort of tapered business happening over here on the side. The bangs needed help. We've got these sort of wavy little bangs. They seem like they have no life. If they looked good when she left, they don't look good now. But who could even care about that when we've got this chop piece on the side and this weird tapered bit on the other? I mean, what was she thinking? Was this a look? Well, but you would think that this would be one person's mistake. Surely not more people could make this mistake. Lady Gaga's like, hold my beer. She showed up looking like Morticia. Honestly, after looking at so much nudeness and nakedness and, poorly constructed outfits, Julia Fox. I mean, I was just glad to see somebody show up in something that resembled an outfit. So would this have been my choice? No, but I mean, I could see the beauty and construction and the hard work that some designer had put in. I don't know who designed any of these clothes, guys. So if you're looking to me to tell you who made what and where and why, I don't know. But what I can say is the dress is fine, but we're here to talk about the hair. What the heck, Lady Gaga? Again, don't let the 5-year-old be in charge of styling the bangs. Now, I will say at least there's some symmetry to this whack look. At least this looks like it was somewhat on purpose. Miley Cyrus, y'all. How did she leave the house feeling like that was the look? Like that's where she wanted to land on that. Okay, well, so Lady Gaga showed up doing all her weird poses as usual. But was she the weirdest person there? Hardly. Because Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith kids came to show up and to be seen, and because they're so avant-garde, because they're just so artsy, because they're just, they're just different like that. Like everybody else is so boring, but we're going to show up with a castle on our head and in our sparkly bra and panties with a trench coat on, because that's how we roll. I don't think this is supposed to be a costume party where you show up looking like the ghost of a castle and your sister is, I don't know, the hooker with the heart of gold who discovers mystery, mayhem, but also true love at the castle. I mean, like, what is happening with the theme here? But they missed the plot. I will say that there were different looks here that were also kind of theatrical, but expected of those people. Like, the Smith kids are annoying because they're always trying to be so avant-garde, so artsy, so, like, above it all. Like, everybody else is so lame. Like, at least, we're the true artists here. They're having to suffer with everybody's stupidity. But we did get some crazy looks from some other individuals. Chappell Roan showed up looking like the ghost of Moulin Rouge. And I think that while she does look like a clown, she always does. And I think that what surprised me about the look wasn't that it was over the top and crazy because it's Chappell Roan, but because the look was so similar to something that Beyonce had already worn, I believe, to a Grammys before. And I think that because the dress is kind of out there and just sort of interesting visually, but just very memorable because it's so odd, it seems like I would not want to re-wear something that somebody else had already worn because it's such a visual statement. It's not like, oh, I was wearing the same black dress she wore one time and, this little black shift is similar to one that somebody else wore one time, like a very forgettable dress. But this dress was just very like, dum, dum, dum. Here I am, don't miss it. And it just seemed like a look that she always is trying to be such an individual that to take a look that had already been worn by Beyonce of all people just seemed like a strange choice. Now, speaking of Beyonce, she was there. What she was wearing was of no consequence. It wasn't very interesting. But I think what's more interesting, two things, is that shockingly, she won Best Album, like Best Country Music Album. Is that the best we can do? Like, I feel like that is such a slap in the face of every actual country music star. That Beyonce, who had, that little hit, which I didn't get, she comes bebopping onto the scene, and then she wins Best Country Music Album of the Year. Like, bad call, you guys. That was not the best country album of the year. There are legitimate country music stars who've been working really hard, and to just throw it to Beyonce was just like, who even cares about the Grammys if those are the kind of calls they're making? Now, she came accompanied by her 12-year-old daughter, Blue Ivy. And you guys, we've talked about this before on X, but we'll talk about it again here. What's going on with Blue Ivy? Now, I don't know if you girls remember when you were 12, but I wasn't playing in this league as a 12-year-old. Everybody is, maturing at different rates. And some of you girls, when you were 12, maybe this is what was happening for you. But I can guarantee you that none of your moms were like, let's get a push-up bra for that, okay? Because even though you're 12, I want you to look like you're 21. And I want to go ahead and speed up this boring part of your life called childhood. God, when'll that be over, right? Push-up bra. Everywhere you go from now on, we're going to go strapless with a push-up bra because we got to push those babies up because real life is calling. And the sooner we can objectify you, because that's what's going to happen anyway in life, the better, right? Like, you can't learn any younger. So, Crazyville is what I have to say to you right now. Anyway, Beyonce was there winning awards that she didn't earn with her daughter. Clearly, Kanye has given her some tips on how to raise that young one. And the person who gave her the award, who announced the award, I should say, was Taylor Swift. Well, of course, there's all that drama from years past when Taylor Swift and Beyonce and everything were like on stage before, but this time is a new era. And Taylor Swift was there to give the award. Let's talk about what Taylor was wearing. Now, obviously, you guys know I've gone hard on Taylor. And it doesn't stop today because I hated that outfit. I feel like she showed up looking like an ice skater. Now, granted, she had clothes on, but see, at this Grammys, that was like, bravo, let's give her a round of applause. We aren't looking at an ass and the breasts bouncing in her face. Like, anybody who showed up wearing something got major points in my book. But on the merits of the outfit as a whole, I didn't love it. I just didn't think it was that flattering to her. And it just didn't feel that exciting. Like, it was just a short little dress that looked exactly like something you would wear if you're a figure skater. And the thing everyone was talking about was this weird rosary that she had hanging out of her pants that looked like, it was just like a necklace, a gold necklace that had like these little rubies. And then there was a T on it, and everyone's like, for Travis? Is she wearing that necklace to signify her love for Travis? Well, I don't think any of us are confused if she loves Travis. Every time we turn around, there they are. But could it also be a T for Taylor because she's that obsessed with herself? Who knows? Maybe it's a T for Taylor and Travis together. And then, here's the thing. I don't know what Taylor Swift looks like without bangs. I can't remember that look. Does she have a big forehead? I have a big forehead, so I'm not like pointing fingers anywhere. But why are we insistent on the bangs? The bangs have been with us for a long time, and I don't feel like the bangs are all that flattering. I don't know if they're supposed to continue to propagate this idea in your mind of her youthfulness, because the way she wears her bangs sometimes feels very childish to me. But it just feels like this mat of hair on the front of her head that aren't styled in any way that I feel like is interesting. Like, every time we see her, her hair looks the same. Now, granted, thank God she seems like some professional is the one at the helm when it comes to her bangs. But the styling of the bangs, I think, is what I'm asking you. Are you guys tired of the bangs yet with Taylor Swift? I'm tired of it. I just felt like this whole look wasn't very interesting. I think that there are outfits that would have been more flattering to her. And she spent her whole career in these like little outfits with her legs hanging out and everything. And I guess I just feel like, I think why I am criticizing this outfit is it didn't look like anything different than she might wear on a concert tour. And I think that when she shows up, I think it's interesting when she wears things that don't look like performance outfits. Now, what really surprised me last night was that she didn't win any Grammys. And is this a first for her? I mean, she lost in all 6 categories. So that was kind of interesting. I'm not like celebrating, but I'm wondering if in the spiraling situation in which we are finding ourselves in, is there any chance that she didn't win one because of the whole Blake Lively thing? I think that's a bit of a stretch. But this is a group of people who nominated Beyonce as the best country music album of the year. And their judgment seems to be pretty impaired. So could they have let all this drama about Taylor Swift color their judgment? But probably they already had the awards already decided. Like, this whole thing with Taylor is a bit of this past week. So could they have changed things suddenly? Probably not. I don't know. It just feels like she's had a big year as far as music goes. So I don't know. Cynthia Erivo showed up looking like she's still trying out for a black version of Voldemort. I wish that somebody would tell her that the nails are done. Because, you want to talk about tired costumes. I'm over here picking apart Taylor Swift. Because I'm like, that look feels like we've kind of seen that look, from her on stage and stuff like that. Like, I'm bored. I'm more bored of Cynthia Erivo's nails. Because every time she shows up, it's like, look at my nails, look at my nails, look at my nails. I guess I just kind of feel like that little trend is done. Now, granted, I don't wear my nails like that, so maybe that trend is alive and kicking. I do follow this girl on Instagram. I never miss any of her videos because she like does her nails like that, and I find it really interesting to watch her do the art for it. But my son was watching me watch a video of those the other days, and he said, that's a really interesting talent, but I don't know if it's useful. And I thought to myself, that's true, because that's the thing. I understand the level of intricacy involved in these nails. I understand that to get all these like little shapes and, molded things on the nails, like that is a form of art, I suppose. I know it takes some talent. I couldn't do that, but I couldn't because I don't want to. Why would I want to walk around looking like a bejeweled eagle? I don't know. It's just, I feel like she's shown us her nails. We get that she likes the fancy nails. But why? Why are we continuing on with this? It's done. We've seen it. We get it. Your nails, you like your nails. They're fun. But they can't be the center focus of every outfit. If you wanted to come with your crazy nails one time and that was like your fashion statement that time, okay. But like, it can't be the fashion statement every time. Speaking of weird fashion statements, you guys, let me tell you what is all the rage right now. And it was all over Paris Fashion Week. We are doing some corseted looks with some whopping hips. And let me tell you, this is my day to shine because I look like this naturally. When I tell you that I got fluff on either side of me that looks like I patterned my clothes, I do. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about this actually being what we want, except it isn't what we want because even as I'm looking at it, I'm like, but why would you do that? I spent my whole life trying to get rid of that. We saw some interesting outfits that really utilized this sort of 1700s shape. And it was very interesting that was also featured very prominently during Paris Fashion Week. That is the shape, that is the look. It's hippalicious, but is that where we want to go? Is that what we're aiming for in life? Is this what we have to look forward to? I've seen it. I've seen the projection of it coming. I knew eventually we were going to get into Crazyville with it. We were going to get into literally stuffing our dresses so that they would hold out. Some of us don't have to. Some of us look like this naturally, God-given. And maybe I'll just try to ride this wave of crazy as long as I can, seeing that is my natural shape, but I don't know, you guys. It was weird. Oh, I'll tell you, speaking of some interesting shapes, so the corset look has been in for a while. We've seen that played out and over and over and over and over and over in fashion. Of course, Chrissy Teigen had to show up in the worst version of it that you've ever seen. Here we have her. She also was doing the whole Grammy, look guys, I'm naked but not really. You can't throw me out. And this is just a look that's been played. It's just like, okay, we get it already. You have boobs under there and they're barely covered. Okay. But it's like, this is so ugly. This mesh, plasticky, nude thing that seems to be trailed behind by a legitimate garbage bag. I don't understand this look whatsoever. I can't imagine showing up and just being like, this look is banging. You look like you're banging around in a garbage can. It's just so desperate for attention. The nudity, the playing on the nudity, look you guys, if you look hard enough, you might get a peek. It's like, why though? The final look that I almost thought to criticize, but now after looking at all these things, I think, Alicia Keys, you go do your thing, was this look. It was intricate and intense. Again, we're going with a corset look. But, there were some interesting details here. It was at least elegant in a way. Am I going to wear a headband that looks like something I found in a Mayan excavation? Probably not. But again, she had clothes on. The neckline was higher. We didn't have to be exposed to the fact that she is a woman and that she wants everyone to see every bits God gave her. I was like, thank God, Alicia. Thank you for putting some clothes on. So, yeah, the jewelry was pretty intense, but gave you high marks for, like, just looking interesting but not gross. And really, that is the highest mark I can give anyone today. Thank you for looking interesting but not gross. And to that I say that of everything I saw, Alicia Keys wins as somebody who did not come looking boring, but did not come looking like they had escaped from a mental institution. And so bravo. Bravo. Obviously, Kanye West's victim will take the cake as far as just out there presentations. But apart from that one, which one do you guys think was the most, like, what were you thinking? For me, the pictures that got my attention the most, the ones I studied the longest, were really the pictures of Miley Cyrus. Because I just couldn't get over the hair. Her outfit was boring, but the hair was such a question mark to me. Obviously, Julia Fox came looking like trash. You know, she was in the middle of burying a body or something when they decided to call her and let her know the car service was here to pick her up for the Grammys. I don't know what she was doing. But it was such a desperate grab for attention that I was uninterested. Because I mean, she knew that she looked crazy. That was the whole point. But for me, Miley Cyrus was the big question mark because I don't think she thinks that looks bad. You know, I mean, she was put together in other respects. Her makeup was done. The dress wasn't super interesting, but like she'd put something on. But the hair, what was the hair? So for you guys, what was the thing that made you really go, but why? What was the choice there? What were the thoughts? You know? And it doesn't have to be the most out there. For me, I was hung up on Miley Cyrus's hair. What were you hung up on? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this silly video about the Grammy fashion, but it's fun, you know? I mean, I've been wanting to do a video on award show fashion, and this video with all of the nakedness, I just could not pass up. So thank you guys for indulging me, and I'll see you guys later this week. Bye.